welcome everybody to New Heart, New World. I'm Rasika Manjari and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's topic is on authentic connection and why is it so hard? You know, as humans, we all want to connect. We want to connect at every level possible: physical, mental, emotional, social. We want it all, because that's our natural propensity as human beings to connect. But for satisfying connections, they need to be nurturing and positive, to give us the experience that we really are looking for when we seek connection. And ideally, those positive connections come from our first experiences of relationship with our parents. Now, of course, when our connections and our relationships are healthy, then we are healthy. But why is it so hard? Why do we have so many deviations from this ideal of health? So the fact is that our value systems over time have changed so much. I mean, even the way we communicate has completely transformed over the last couple of decades. And also, the family unit has been redefined in many cases. It's no longer the sort of traditional unit that it used to be, as it was recognized in previous times. So these traditional sources of validation and fostering of our identities have undergone a complete transformation over time. Our parents, our families, our intimate relationships even are no longer the pillars of strength that they once used to be, or they once were and functioned for us in that way. So these days they can be confused, and of course we can be confused. But our collective wellness depends on our individual wellness, on how integrated and whole we are as individuals. And we don't realize the potential that we all hold to having fulfilling, deep and rewarding connections, because we're so busy with satisfying the physical, mental and social aspects of our well-being that we forget one thing. And that thing is our spiritual dimension, that aspect of us that is spiritual and that ultimately defines us. But we forget about this, and unfortunately this is our undoing and is the cause of the strife that we see in the world around us today. Because loving connections are reciprocal, they imply a give and take. But if we don't have that love, if we don't have that experience of love as a baseline, as a foundation, then we can't give it. But if we don't have it, then how do we get it? Well, here's the trick. No matter what our history, our trauma, our situation or experience, we all can achieve satisfying, deep and lasting connection. And this happens when we go within. Now, there's a lot happening inside of us if we just take a moment to listen. It was Rumi who said that there is a voice that does not use words. Listen. So this voice, of course, can sometimes be just a little whisper, and often it takes time and training in many ways to hear that voice of the heart, to hear that voice of Super Soul, the Supreme Soul that accompanies our own individual soul across lifetimes and is witnessing our every action and thought and behavior. So, because this voice can sometimes be barely a whisper and we're not trained, we're not tuned in to its frequency and we can't really hear it very well for most of us most of the time, then there is something to help us. We have a tool. It's actually a rehabilitation tool to get us to that point where we can hear and we can listen. And that tool is the Bhakti Yoga philosophy, which is there to remind us. It acts as an aide-memoire or a way to jog our memory in terms of what we were truly meant to experience, that connection with ourselves and with the Supreme Self within the region of our heart. Because when this connection is right, the whole world is right. So fortunately for us, Super Soul is very close by. He's within our hearts no less, but we need to choose to perceive him. Now, he's always described as a male, so don't despair for those of you who are worrying about an imbalance of gender here, because he, in his true original form, is always accompanied by his feminine counterpart. So they are always together, never separated, both male and female, masculine and feminine, divine, supreme beings. So one perfect recipe to help reawaken this divine connection between us and the Supreme Soul is through mantra meditation. Now, in the Bhakti Yoga tradition, we chant the Maha Mantra. And the Maha Mantra is designed exactly for this. It's designed for reawakening our connection and also acting as a jogger of our memory in terms of how we can relate to that supreme spiritual essence of who we truly are. So the mantra is designed to sharpen our spiritual senses, and it primes us for a profound connection that is only experienced on that spiritual transcendental platform, which, by the way, we can all achieve. We just need to train our minds and thus become increasingly tuned in to that frequency. So the good news is that whatever state we're in, wherever we are, whatever our situation, we can make this connection through the Maha Mantra. So let's chant it together now. You can join in because many of you are familiar with it already, but if not, just listen and you'll eventually pick up the nuance of the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in case you were wondering, yes, there is a happy ending for humanity. We just have to choose it. Now, you know that little tingly feeling you get in your body when you really, really like someone? Well, that's your common sense leaving your body. So we can stop the endless, fruitless search for finding that perfect love and connection out there somewhere that never seems to really materialize for us in our lives in the perfection that we idealize it to be. So we can stop that endless, fruitless search and come back home and dig up the treasure that lies in our very own backyards. Now, if you'd like to know more about the Maha Mantra and how you can integrate it into your life, and also any aspect of Bhakti Yoga, then please visit my website at newheart-newworld.com. And I'll be back here on the videos to talk more about the secrets and not so secrets of Bhakti Yoga. So please stay tuned. And until we meet again, I wish you all well. Bye for now.